The following is a presentation of TFNN. Live at TFNN, the Power Trading Hour, with your host, David White. Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044. Now, David White.
And welcome to another exciting edition of the Power Trading Hour with me, your humble, lovable, and squeezably soft host, for another edition of the Power Trading Hour as we go once more into the breach, dear friends. And as we start the show off, what do we have? Looking at the S&P, up almost 12 points right now with 1.76 billion shares. So light volume up, light volume down, light volume everywhere. It's just light volume. And we're in the doldrums. I don't see that we have enough energy either to break out or break down. Maybe we'll get that energy tomorrow at 2 o'clock, right before my show, when the Fed makes its decision. Don't think that the Supreme Court decisions will be enough to move the overall market, move the medical market. Kind of tough to see how the rest of the stuff comes out. We've got a dollar that's basically being pretty heavily manipulated by the central governments. I think that they figured out where the pain point was on the United States, and they decided to jury rig it to stick right around 95, at least on the index. And we continue to see the same thing in other areas of the market, and that is a lot of manipulation, probably too much manipulation for any one, even a bunch of companies, more than even a single country. It is the great cabal out here putting the kibosh on volatility, at least extreme volatility. We get a little bit of volatility, and they decide to move on. So what else do we have going on here today? Well, it's always the same thing. It's just repeating.
That it's all just a little bit of history repeating.
Today in 1903, Henry Ford launches his Ford Motor Company in a refurbished wagon factory in Detroit. $28,000 he raised from 12 investors, including a coal dealer, a carpenter, and a man who made windmills, if you can believe that. These guys were pretty good. He was an engineer, but he was actually an electrical engineer for General Electric. They sat him on working for and trying to develop a car. That was pretty much the early 1890s. He worked there for about 5 or 6 years. Thought he had a much better idea of how to build a car. Mr. General Electric was mostly in the business of stealing other people's inventions by this point. He didn't really, probably after 1880, 1885, really didn't come up with anything else. It was basically, he was the robber baron of technology at that time. Henry Ford probably saw a little bit of that in Mr. General Electric and decided to branch out on his own. The Model T, of course, was introduced in 1908. I think that was the third car that they tried to build and sell. It had the steering wheel on the left, which was something that was very new to everybody else. Soon all the other companies copied it, and the entire engine and transmission were enclosed inside the engine. A lot of them had them hanging out for all to see. The 4 cylinders were cast in a solid block. The suspension used 2 semi-elliptical springs, which had no shock absorber, which made them extremely bouncy. So it was kind of like riding in a bouncy castle. I don't think shock absorbers came for another 15 years or so. At that point, even those shock absorbers had the technology of a spring door closer, if you've got one of those. Not much, but it helped a little bit. It's still taken a long time for shock absorber technology to get any better. Fluid dynamics is one tough subject. But, other than that, he hated Jews. and was more than willing to help Kennedy in the lead up to the Second World War to anything we could do to help out killing the Jews. He was more in favor of it, although he kept it down. He had his own newspaper about Semitism, anti-Semitism, yeah, anti-Semitism. So kind of a complex man, very interesting guy. He and the other chieftains of industry would load up and go camping. And when I mean camping, I mean he would have 10 or 12 boxcars worth of stuff, and the rest of his guys, they'd set up giant tents in the middle of nowhere. They'd have people go out there and cut all the grass down, make sure it was nice. They'd set up all these big tents, all kinds of food and everything was there. They'd go out and hunt. If they caught something, great. If not, they had plenty of stuff and servants to cook them something for dinner, and they'd talk. And these outings would last 2 weeks or 4 weeks in the fall, and they'd bring their wives and kids, an entire train worth of stuff, because, of course, he was friends with all the guys. Dearborn Press, thank you very much. Mr. Z in the den brought up that. But a lot of these guys in the 19th, around 1900, they were both brilliant and evil and had huge personality problems. He certainly did, but I did have one good idea, and that was, how can we drop the cost by automating as many things as possible and putting an assembly line together, and probably responsible for us winning the Second World War, because all of his principles that he had written down eventually made their way to other car companies. People left, and he had some interesting ideas. But as I always say, Hitler made the trains run on time too, so you can't judge somebody on one thing. Did Henry and Tom Edison become pals? I do not think so. I asked that question. Somebody in the den is asking me a question. I asked that question. I was down at Edison's place down in Sarasota. If you ever come to this area, you can go down to Edison's house, which is not very far from Barn and Bailey's circus winter headquarters, maybe about 5 miles. But there is a little segment down there in Sarasota that has some incredibly long, straight coastline on the intercoastal. And all the guys had their winter homes down there. And they would come down there for the winter and hang out. But I asked them, and they said no, it wasn't a big. But yeah, all these guys went on these camping trips. All the chieftains, and they'd have 20, 30 people. It's a surprise that they didn't end up shooting each other. But that was if you were going to shoot somebody, you'd shoot a servant or ex-girlfriend or something. Unclear whether they brought their wives all the time or not. There was some inklings that maybe these things were a little less hunting and a little bit more amorous for their girlfriends. Other things going on, that was from yesterday. It's been 3,551 days since the last market correction. We'll get moving on from that. Well, we got a few things I didn't have set up. Microsoft is working hard to play with others. Of course, they've been making a lot of announcements at E3 today. A little bit of bounce, and right where you would think that this thing would come in and bounce. It took off with heavy volume on the 24th of April. That volume was almost 131 million shares. We came into it with 33 million shares yesterday. We were bouncing right back into it. Had a doji. So a pretty nice little pattern out here. Part of what's going on today is an announcement that they made a deal with Box, which is the cloud services company. Have they been out here long enough? Is it just Box, B-O-X? What's their symbol? Yeah, Box. BOXX, though, I think. Huh. Anyway, they haven't been around for a while. The stock's kind of going sideways, but what is happening is Microsoft is making a ton of deals with every cloud service company so that no matter who you want to use, it will be integrally in Office. So no matter where you want to keep your data, whether it's on the servers from Microsoft or servers from somebody else like Box, like Google, like Amazon, it will be transparent and be supported by everything by Microsoft. They, I guess, figured out that they're probably not in the lead anymore, and they're more than willing to make sure that they are everywhere, and they're going to get every dime that they can, which is probably not a bad idea. Other things out here in this news, we're up 12.5 points now on the S&P cash. Volume's still light, though. 1.82 billion shares on the New York Consolidated Tape. Other items of interest or stocks of interest, MSFT, or MNST, right? Yeah, there it is. Monster Beverage Company's getting a fairly big deal with Coca-Cola. They're going to basically give Coca-Cola the rights to some of their energy drinks. I think it's the Hansen part of it. What the deal, though, is they're going to help them, Coca-Cola is going to help sell and market where Coca-Cola already has all the existing bottling companies already. So Monster gives Coke a little bit of help here in the United States, and Coca-Cola is going to give Monster a huge platform to expand overseas. Unclear whether people are willing to spend $4 for some happy juice. There's basically a lot of caffeine and sugar, but it's tough to say at the moment. At least a big belief here in the United States that this is anything more than a cup of coffee with a lot of sugar in it, but I don't know. I just know how bad they make me feel. They make me feel jumpy and bad, and so I do not drink energy drinks. I'll eat a can of spinach like Popeye. Anyway, that is one of the ones out here. It's up 4% today, and of course, a lot of speculation going on about that Coca-Cola deal. I haven't seen it in blood yet. PRGO is up about 4%, maybe a little bit more. PRGO. And interesting that Abbott Labs affirmed its continued support for Mylan's strategy, including proposed acquisition of Perrigo. So this one is finding a little bit more love out here. And you never really, this thing had a huge day when all the news broke on the 8th of April. And it's just been kind of going sideways out here today. And yeah, nice day. Volume is picking up. Anyway, we're going to break. By the way, I identify myself as a president. So if you do call in, make sure and ask for the president. Doesn't matter what I really am. It doesn't matter. You're a horrible bigot if you don't call me the president. Call in 877-927-6648. I am the president.
TFNN is excited about our new software charting program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts. In collaboration with Tom O'Brien and using his best-selling book, The Art of Timing the Trade, Your Ultimate Trading Mastery System, David White has programmed an outstanding piece of software that will complement any trader's methodology. Using this first-of-its-kind program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts allows you to scan thousands of stocks for Fibonacci formation setups, including Gartley's, ABC's, butterflies, and much more. The Art of Timing the Trade Charts is designed to help you when scouring the markets for stocks just beginning to form the trading patterns that many investors spend days, weeks, or even months searching to find. And right now, we're offering licenses available at only $79 a month. We are so confident that you're going to love this new charting software that will even give you a 30-day unconditional money-back guarantee. Don't miss out on this incredible new piece of software. Get your copy of The Art of Timing the Trade Charts today by visiting TFNN.com.
Tiger TV is an exciting way to experience TFNN programming. See high-definition video, giving you crystal clear charts, as well as seeing some of the faces of TFNN's highly acclaimed financial experts with crisp, full-fidelity sound. Catch Tom O'Brien, John Logan, Steve Rhodes, Basil Chapman, Larry Pesavento, Thinkorswim, David White, Andy Hecht, and Daryl Martin in crystal clear, high-definition audio and video. Tiger TV, exclusively at TFNN.com. Platinum, grains, crude oil, gold, copper, cattle, hogs, gasoline, natural gas, coffee, cotton, cocoa, and sugar. These are just some of the commodities mentioned in the most recent issue of Andy Hecht's Techno-Mental Commodity Report. Andy publishes his weekly newsletter every Thursday morning, where he breaks down the commodity market and provides his subscribers with specific trading recommendations based on his trading methodology. By signing up for a free trial to the Techno-Mental Commodity Report, you'll get a full 30 days to try out this powerful newsletter service and see for yourself the types of trades Andy has recommended for his subscribers. When you sign up for a 30-day free trial, you're under no obligation to pay anything. And should you decide to continue, you will lock in the low rate of only $79 a month. Sign up right now for the Techno-Mental Commodity Report and make sure you're ready to catch the next big trade in commodities. For more information and to get started today, visit the front page of TFNN.com.
You've always taken the long view when it comes to investing, but what if there's an opportunity right under your nose? What if you could be more responsive to market trends to seek to boost your portfolio performance right now while seeking to reduce your overall risk? At Direction Funds, we connect investors with alternative strategies that seek to maximize their returns. Smart investors deserve smart alternatives. Find yours at directionfunds.com. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risk charges, and expenses of Direction Funds carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction Funds. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact the Direction Funds at 800-851-0511. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. Investing in index funds may be more volatile than investing in broadly diversified funds. Distributed by Rafferty Capital Markets, LLC.
Many of our new listeners have heard about the Tiger's Den, but wondered, what exactly is it? The Tiger's Den is a lively community where professional traders and investors can meet, exchange ideas and information in a comfortable, moderated atmosphere. Hear all of your favorite TFNN shows, plus see all the charts as they happen, live during those shows, and have access to all those charts. You can test drive the Tiger's Den, absolutely free, for 30 days. It will greatly enrich your knowledge of these markets. Details on the Tiger's Den are on the front page of TFNN.com. Dave takes your phone calls now. Toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044.
Bing, bing, bing. Andy Hecht is in the Tiger's Den. He gets a gold star for figuring out that Al Sharpton was a backup singer for James Brown. During the breaks, we try to have a little bit of fun. Anyway, we were looking at Pergo PLC, PRGO. A nice little pop out here, and basically you got into a 2.9 million share low that came from the April 30th low at 181.21. Got into that yesterday with about a third, 1.1 million shares. Of course, the stock popped right back up. Not a lot of juice out here, so it came back down. Other stocks of interest, Twitter. It has been a long time since I've seen a stock so savaged by people on Wall Street. And the question has to be, how many of these people are just incredibly short the stock and they're pounding on it so that they can cover? It's the only thing I can think of, because I've never seen this kind of vitriol. You know, either you come out and you hate the stock because you're short, you'd like to cover, but very rarely do you come out and just hate a stock to hate it. Maybe you want to get a little bit lower so you can buy it if you weren't long it already or short it already. But it seems to be a concerted effort. I have yet to see a stock like this. It's been years since I've seen a stock taken out. Even stocks that are being talked about as total frauds like Herbalife don't get this kind of vitriol, but continues to have it. A lot of people are talking about $32 as a floor in this stock. I may even go down to 30, but my guess is that we're going to see A lot of people badmouth the stock, try to cover, and find some kind of fairly decent trade out of this thing. And that gap between about 40 and 42 looks like prime real estate. So if you get down to 30, not a bad trade, maybe back up to 40 or 42 bucks. I suspect that's what Wall Street's thinking now. Let's cover our short on this pig, and then what we will do later is
let's put some lipstick on this pig
and try to drive it right back up to 42 points. Other things going on out here as we continue to look at a day is Cody. If you're not familiar with this stock, it had a huge move out here today because it is getting the beauty product lines from Procter & Gamble. When I lived in Cincinnati, I was always relegated to the back of the airplane. Delta was the only major airline flying out of there. It was the highest and most expensive place to fly out of the United States because basically Delta had worked out a monopoly. I had 1.5 million miles, and the stewardesses were more than likely to just throw a drink on me than even talk to me. There were lots of people that had 5 and 10 million miles. Therefore, I never got upgraded unless there was probably a bird flu in the first class. So it was very tough to ever use my airline miles for anything good. But I went to Hawaii a few times. I guess that was well worth spending my miles on it. But I've still been always a little bit indignant over Procter & Gamble sticking it to me as much as they did, or the people there. They're fine people, and I guess I would have, if I worked for them, I would have been happy. Of course, they got all their airline miles taken from them, which was kind of interesting. But they've got, if you ever go through there on I-75 headed south, if you look off to the east as you go across the bridge there that crosses the bridge, you'll see two big, huge gold-domed buildings. In Cincinnati, they call those the Dolly Parton buildings, but those are that's the headquarters of Procter & Gamble. Anyway, huge gap up. Of course, probably a pretty good deal for them long term. Other stocks that are up fairly big are NCR. As we look at that, a lot of making people out here like Blackstone Group and Carlyle Group are going to make a joint bid for NCR, and this thing popped up a little higher than it probably should have. Got to 36.50 today, but a lot of volume, and the question is how many people were sitting short on this stock when it popped up. There wasn't a lot of volume over the last couple of days to make anybody think that there was anything going back on, but back up to that $35 level, which is where I think most people think this thing's probably worth. We'll be back in a minute. 877-927-6648. Ask for the president.
The Path of Least Resistance is David White's daily trading newsletter, and if you're looking for active trading ideas, then now's a perfect time for a 30-day free trial to this powerful daily trading advisory service. David uses his years of trading experience to offer his subscribers his trading ideas each morning in his Path of Least Resistance newsletter. Using a combination of equity trades along with options, David keeps his subscribers up to date with all pertinent market information with intraday afternoon updates when warranted. Don't miss out on this great chance to get a 30-day free trial to David's daily newsletter, The Path of Least Resistance, with no obligation to pay anything. David has been delivering solid recommendations for his subscribers recently, and if you'd like to see the type of newsletter he delivers every morning, then visit the front page of TFNN, and you'll find The Path of Least Resistance under Trading Newsletters. For all the details and to start your 30-day free trial today, log on to TFNN.com now. Has the current market volatility continued to stop you out of trades when the market spikes against you? Now is the perfect time to open up an account with Nadex. Nadex, the North American Derivatives Exchange, is a brand new, completely regulated Chicago-based exchange, and unlike most other exchanges, Nadex allows you to trade directly through them with direct market access when using their completely free trading platform, which also features real-time charts and full customization capability. One of the advantages of trading with Nadex in volatile markets is that your risk is always capped and you have the ability of keeping your trades open even when the market spikes against you. Nadex is completely brand new with a line of unique trading products that are unavailable anywhere else. See how it works at nadex.com. That's NADEX.com. Or click on the Nadex banner on the front page of TFNN.com. Futures and options trading involves risk and may not be appropriate for all investors.
If you're an active trader looking for that extra edge when it comes to trading and investments, then now is a great time to get a 2-week free trial to Tom O'Brien's daily market letter, Market Insights. Tom O'Brien's daily newsletter, Market Insights, comes out every market day at around 9:30 a.m. and provides Tom's daily commentary on the broad market, including the Dow, NASDAQ, and S&P, plus specific trade recommendations. There's even an update published most afternoons to keep you informed about the day's market activity. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price of each stock and option trade. With Market Insights, there's nothing left to guessing. For all the details and to get your 2-week free trial to Market Insights started today, visit TFNN.com.
Today, it's hard to tell if the economy is coming or going. Regardless, I want my money going in the direction I choose. If that's your stance as well, then you want to know how Everbank can help keep your money thriving just the way you want. Is growing your money a priority? Everbank is committed to a yield pledge promise to pay high yields on your checking, money market, and CD balances. Looking to diversify? Everbank ingeniously developed accessible ways to spread your money around the world into foreign currencies and even non-FDIC insured metals. And when it comes to your wealth, they bring a highly experienced and global perspective to help you manage it. Everbank's financial philosophy flies in the face of the status quo. They believe your money's performance should not be determined by today's economic circumstances, but by the drive to rise above them and create opportunities that favor your objectives. If that excites you, like it does me, call 1-855-750-4051 to find out what they can do for you. That's 1-855-750-4051. Call them today. Everbank is a member FDIC and equal housing lender.
This segment is brought to you by Think or Swim. For more information, just click the Think or Swim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
And we go to mail. Ken in Wyoming says, "Dear Mr. President, what would you like your opinion to be on DDD?" And when we look at it, I suspect what he's looking at out here is this test of May 15th, $20.82, 4.6 million shares. We've gone below it. Volume has not increased yesterday. You had a nice low at here at $2, or I mean, 2.4 million shares. So about half the volume today, about 1 million shares, and you've got a doji. I'd be very interested to be watching this and seeing if there's anything going on in this at all. And, you know, I'm going to be watching this very closely. We may have a opportunity to come back out here and have a 3-gap play. I would like these last two to have been a little bit bigger. But you could have a move back up into the $30 range. This thing is monstrously short, but my guess is that your opportunity to go long on this will probably be Wednesday. Another question from the Den, Danny in Atlanta, says, "Dear Mr. President, what's the sweet spot for S&P expirations? They are extremely wide going into the Fed meeting, and basically they're meaningless now. The premiums are all fairly high. What will happen, of course, is on Wednesday after the meeting, by the close, the premiums will absolutely collapse. And at that point, we'll get a good idea. So basically, the option market makers are making sure that the premiums are fat on both sides, puts and calls, and they're going to make up for a multitude of errors. But there's basically, they're looking at anywhere from 30 to 35 points up or down from here. So they're thinking that we could expire anywhere from 2140, actually a little bit more, 2140 down to 2060. So, it's one of these things where we'll get a much better idea, and they'll be putting on and taking off a lot of options after they see what the Fed does. And that's actually pretty good, because normally what you get is all those options premiums crashing, and you get the opportunity to pick up a lot of movements out here. And again, things like 3D systems will be things I'm watching in the option market to see how the options come out. And these will be some white lightning trades, i.e. you better have a fast finger, but could be fairly good. Unfortunately, when a lot of these stocks like DDD get set up for expiration and they're hovering right around a strike price like 20, they may hang out on that strike price all the way till Friday, or just start to move on Friday. So you'll have to watch it good. I mean, to me, I would have much more liked to see this thing at something, if we were talking about expiration on a single stock, something like 19 bucks or 19.50, so that you could buy the 20s out of them, out of the money, or if they had 21s, you could buy 21s out of the money. But I don't think this one does. So basically, you got to have two things on a single stock, although that wasn't the question. It was the S&Ps. In these individual stocks, of course, what I'm looking at, we could have some nice movement, but we're going to need to wait until the structure of the S&P options collapses one way or the other. Premium, if it goes higher, then basically they'll drop the premium on all of the S&Ps down. But at the same time, that VIX does tend to be a big input into the individual stocks themselves too. And as soon as those S&P premiums really start to die, then you'll see the premiums also in these individual stocks die. And that's when the opportunity comes. So probably Wednesday by the close, maybe Thursday morning or Thursday afternoon, maybe see some trades line up and get some real indication out here. But right at this moment, just the market doesn't have a lot to actually show us out here today. Other things are going on of interest. Let's see if I can get, is there anything in here? We'll see. Had a bunch of stuff. Healthcare. Dear Mr. President, this is SK from AOL. Don't know what else. How will you save my free healthcare after July 1st? How will you say? I don't know. It's never been free, so I don't know. As PJ O'Rourke said, if you think healthcare is expensive now, wait till it's free. And I don't know. I have no idea what's going to happen. They can rule so many different ways on the healthcare deal that I wouldn't even take a shot of how it's going to move or how it's going to affect all these healthcare stocks. And, basically coming down to the decision of probably one person and that swing vote in the Supreme Court. And that's it. So I don't know how you do that. But I get the idea, Mr. President. How am I going to sell you free health care? Probably by not making it free. I had a good friend, and he had two boys, and they're about 7 years apart. And he really had a bunch of money going into about 2007. And he'd bought his first kid a new car. And the kid, you open the door and trash was falling out. It had dings in it. The car, by 2 years old, looked like it was totally trashed. Of course, the economy pulled back. He lost a lot of money. He had to get a different job. Things weren't going well. He wasn't able to buy the car for the second boy. But the boy worked summers cutting lawns. And guess what? He bought a used car. And that car is always pristine because he had to pay for it himself. And I think that's kind of, if you don't have any skin in the game, it's going to be problematic. That's what I'm looking for. I'd put skin in the game, Mr. SKI. Anyway, you got to tell me your actual name and where you're from. Just your first name's fine, so I know who's going on. Other things of interest out here, gold's a giant snoozer. It was off about 0.5%. I haven't seen it. We got crude stuck at 60. I still think that this thing's probably in a trading range down to maybe 55 or 53. I don't see a whole lot up here. I think a lot of people are using crude as gold in problematic issues. And that's it. I've got comments coming in from the peanut gallery. Let's look at a few other stocks here that are moving before we get it. Again, you can email me at path@tfnn.com. You can post a message in the den to Mr. President. And, of course, you can also call me. We've got a little thing called a telephone at 877-927-6648. We talked Twitter. These airlines companies still aren't doing any better. UAL, I don't know if they just thought that jet fuel is going to be free. But how many people told me that the airline stocks were going to do nothing but grow to the sky? And kind of interesting to see it back here. No volume out here, so you might be making at least some temporary lows in the near future. If you go back to June 9th on UAL, it had a low of $49.85 with 12 million shares. You're getting into that with about 3 million shares today. So we might be finding the at least a right shoulder on some of these airline stocks, but nice volume. I don't know if it would have been down anyway, but they're announcing that they're going to cease operations at Kennedy International Airport because they can't make connections to anything else. So I don't know if that's a lot of news. I suspect that they've been working on that for a long time. But flying into Kennedy, what a buzzkill. We had NCR, more takeout chatter. Alchemies, ALKS, is it? I don't know, ALKS. Okay. Anyway, takeover chatter out here. Who knows if it's real or not? There's been one more bad rumor after another on this stock for a while, but it does look like it's trying to get back into that $65.37 high from April 14th. Other than that, still in a trading range. You could make a case that it broke the ABC point out here and then sold back off. A lot of volume out here today. My guess is we're still going to get a push back up to 65.37 in this stock fairly soon. Tahoe's off almost 9% in the gold market. This is rather interesting because Goldcorp announced a secondary offering of 58 million common shares of Tahoe at a price of $17.20 per common share. And, of course, that is, again, I've been talking about it for a year. How many of these gold companies were going to have to either go back to the well and dilute shareholders and or just go bankrupt if they can't get the cash? Probably better long-term that they're getting at least some money now. But this is probably going to put some strain on Tahoe for a while. OSK, another one feeling the brunt of an angry market, down about 8% earlier today. Oshkosh, by gosh, right? I just want to make sure this isn't the other Oshkosh, by gosh. Designs, manufactures specialty vehicles and vehicle bodies. So not the overall company. It is the company that makes big equipment, aerial work platforms, telehandlers used in construction, agriculture, industrial equipment. I'm talking man stuff here. I'm talking about the bro show out here. Big things, making big things, stuff out there in the fields, toiling and tilling. This is a man's company. Anyway, out here testing its previous low of $45.83. Broke it today and has done so already on volume, 2.8 million shares. That opens up two gaps, one at 44, one at 40, just over 42. And, of course, the possibility of this untested low from January 16th at $38.64. And what do we have to say on this? Issued downside guidance for Q3, lowered its total year 15 guidance below consensus estimates, and that's it. Last on my list to go through on these stocks is the WB Weibo. This stock out here, Chinese momentum names are selling off after the Shanghai index declined 3.4%. That's getting awful movie out here. Maybe that bubble is at least starting to break over there in Shanghai. What else do we have? We've got a lot of stocks out here. Looking at Walmart today, these are the non-news driven stocks. Doesn't seem like a lot is happening out here other than if we go back a long time, and that is the support area right around 71 and 72. This thing's banging against it. Volume's okay. Is it huge? No. Last time we were down here was October 16th. Had 14 million shares. We had 11 million shares. Do we have anything approaching? Yeah, 11 million shares on the 10th. And, of course, this started with a huge volume day down with 22 million shares on May 19th. But there's just not a lot out here. You've got some pretty good wicked support. Eventually, this thing, I suspect, is going to break and go to that 70 level where there's a gap. That gap goes back to a high volume down day of the 15th of February in 2013. You get back up a few days later on 20 million shares. So that gap right at 70. Mark it down in pencil now. You're going to need more than about 20 million shares to break it. Okay. Okay. What else do we have? Vasco security data. We've been talking about this one for a while and whether or not this thing would break out. I think we brought this up yesterday. This one's bouncing a little bit, but boy, talk about some light volume compared to the February 17th high at 17 million shares, $31.84 on that day. Today, we've gone higher and are holding it. But volume is fairly light, 2.7 million shares compared to that 17 million share high on February 17th, where this thing went right back into the trading range. Give it about 2 or 3 days, I suspect we're going to be right back in that. T. Rowe Price group out here on a little shorter time scale, bounced off the low from January 29th at $77.96. You needed 2.3 million shares. Yesterday we had 1.6 million shares. And this thing bounced a little. Today, though, not a lot of volume. These broker-dealers are not looking all that healthy to me. You still have plenty of time to give me a call at 877-927-6648. Say, "Dear Mr. President, what is your call on this particular stock?" We'll be back.
Trade with confidence and clarity while using the software that thousands of institutional traders rely on to make the best and most accurate decisions. Choose from 1,000 equities, currencies, and futures instruments utilizing the TAS architecture. As seen on Bloomberg terminals worldwide, the TAS Profile Scanner is a benchmark technical filtering system that thousands of traders rely on, and now you can too. For a limited time for TFNN subscribers only, we've reduced the price to just $97. That's over 75% off. John Logan hosted a special subscriber-only webinar in December, and you'll gain access to that archive as well, so you can learn exactly what the TAS Profile Scanner can do for you. Try this product out. No matter what you trade, the TAS Profile Scanner can help you make more informed trading decisions. There's no obligation to pay anything. Don't let this offer pass you by. Get your 30-day free trial to the TAS Profile Scanner today by signing up at TFNN.com.
Tom O'Brien's weekly gold letter, The Gold Report, gives complete and concise coverage of the entire gold market. Inside, you'll get Tom's commentary on gold, the dollar, the rand, the bond, the XAU, the HUI, and detailed coverage of nearly 25 mining stocks. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price of each stock trade. The Gold Report is a long-term newsletter where the focus is on building real wealth through the management of a successful portfolio of gold stocks. With a lifetime of knowledge and almost 12 years of writing his informative weekly newsletter, The Gold Report, Tom O'Brien can provide you with the important market information to help you make better trades in the gold market. Don't let the next bull run in gold pass you by. To get a month-long free trial to The Gold Report, an $85 value, visit the front page of TFNN.com today.
David White's newsletter, The Technology Insider, is focused like a laser on finding the next big things in technology. If you had invested only $10,000 in Microsoft in 1986, you'd have been a millionaire by 2000. Disruptive technology like Microsoft's is the key to these massive long-term profits, and the Tech Insider is the vehicle from TFNN to capitalize on these opportunities. This is the go-to newsletter that identifies, monitors, and profits on mostly little-known cutting-edge companies with great long-term prospects. David's experience is as an inventor of Emmy-winning animation products for TV and Hollywood that propelled a company public. Match that with 14 years as a full-time trader, and he's uniquely qualified to guide you through the light-speed world of ever-evolving high-tech. If you're ready to ride the next big technology bull market for less than $40 per month, log on to TFNN.com and get your 2-week free trial to the Technology Insider. Get in on the ground floor of the next big thing today.
Hi, I'm Steve Rhodes, host of the Trader's Edge, heard daily at TFNN.com and author of Mastering Probability, a daily investment and trading newsletter service that I send out each morning by 8 a.m. My morning newsletter service covers exactly what the markets have been doing since last night's close, providing you with an edge on your trading day ahead. You get actionable trading ideas, including the exact entry, stop, and profit targets. Plus, I'll teach you the patterns and hidden market correlations that will make you a better trader. As a subscriber, you'll gain access to my 90-minute money management workshop, where I'll teach you the secrets that'll save your assets. The bottom line, I've got your back, including a 30-day money-back guarantee. See for yourself the type of analysis I provide each trading day by signing up for Mastering Probability today. With nothing to lose, this is an offer you should not pass on. Mastering Probability can be found under Trading Newsletters on the front page of TFNN.com.
Catch Tom O'Brien, professional trader and educator, founder of TFNN. Also, a special guest on CNBC. Tom will bisect and dissect the markets. The Tom O'Brien Show, next on TFNN.
And we're back. Interesting discussion in the Dan. Let's check back into the market and see what's going on out here. Not a whole lot. 12, at least in the last few minutes, up 12 points in the S&P cash, just cresting 2 billion shares on the New York Consolidated tape. So that's a little bit interesting out here. Maxwell up another 17 cents. Nice little move out of here today. TZA. Just looking at a few of my stocks to see if anything is going on. No, everything is sitting pretty. Okay. Other stocks out here. We wanted to talk about Taser. We've been following this the last few days. This one certainly was up on light volume. Talk about a personality stock going back to 2000. I always remember this thing is always taking off and then blowing up and doing nothing for 2 or 3 years and then coming back from the dead and then blowing up again. I don't know if there's any reason to believe that this time's different. Taser is on light volume compared to the May 5th high, 6.2 million shares. And we got into it with basically half that today. So not a big, actually on the 11th, not a big surprised this thing has pulled right back into the trading range. Energy's been kind of lethargic back up in here. So probably looking at a bigger trading range from about $29.50 up to $35 unless earnings or some kind of big news comes out here. SunCoke Energy. There was something interesting in this. Yep, it has broken through its long-term low when we look at SunCoke Energy. Who wants to be in coal? July 5th, 2013, $13.58. 1 million shares blew through it yesterday with 2.7 million shares, 3 million shares already today. Just a horrible business to be in long term, at least with the current administration. Not like in coal anymore. You blow through this, and now you're back down to maybe $10 to $9.20. The October 4th, 2011 low at $9.20, and at a buck higher, December 14th, 2011, at $10.34. Not a lot of neat stuff going on. Of course, that China news, is it really doing much over here? Doesn't seem to have hurt Sohu that much. It is down today, a little gap down back, but it's just back into this move up. Not a lot of volume today either. The thought is that someone, or even the Chinese, will always come back and paper over any problems with any Chinese stock, but it's tough to say. Another one that's kind of interesting out here that is all along long-term support, if he could speak. And that is, let's see what else we have out here. I do have one. Scott from San Francisco says, can Nat get to 1520 before it breaks? I don't know. I don't think that there's a whole lot of movement either in natural gas either. Oh, North American tanker. I see what he's talking about. I thought he was talking about nat gas. Well, this thing's broken. Energy is good back up here. The question is, could it get to 1520 before it breaks? And the answer is, you got some nice ABCs out here. Energy's not that bad. Just don't see a lot out here now. I mean, it's a risk. Could it? The answer is yes. Will it? I doubt it. I just don't see any movement in the Baltic Dry Index. In the meantime, so when you can, not when you have to. We'll see you tomorrow. Same bat channel, same bat time. Get ready for the Fed action. Get ready to rumble.
Larry Pesavento has just announced a new service that is designed specifically for technical traders that follow Fibonacci patterns in many markets and are always on the lookout for profitable trade setups. Larry will be sending his subscribers a constant stream of charts and videos whenever he finds formations and trade setups in the market you need to know about. And each Monday morning, you'll receive Larry's written report that provides detailed commentary on the charts and videos that he sent out, as well as what to expect for the week of trading ahead. Larry's first issue will be delivered this coming Monday, and in the days remaining, we're offering a special launch promotion where you can get a full month of Larry's new service, Fibonacci 24/7, for only $47 with a 30-day money-back guarantee. Larry has already started sending out charts and videos to his subscribers that have signed up, so don't delay and sign up now. You can sign up for Larry Pesavento's Fibonacci 24/7 right now by visiting the front page of TFNN.com.
You're watching Tiger TV.